In this episode of the Texas Private School Podcast, Austin Evans and Central Texas look to defend Temple against Jacobus and the Eagles of Brazos Christian. Holy Cross and Dallas First Baptist meet once again at Mary Hardin Baylor in a heavyweight title fight. Madden Morgan and Episcopal look to limit Wayne Shanks and Kinkaid in a battle to play in the SPC 4A title game. The undefeated Cardinals of Fort Worth Christian look to invade Gordon Autry Stadium and claim the right to challenge for the throne. And Parish looks to get some sweet, sweet revenge against Liberty on the Smurf turf. All this and more in the Week 8 preview of the Texas Private School Podcast. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Texas Private School Podcast. As always, I am one-third of your hosting crew, Wes Tolleson, joining you from Dallas, Texas. Walker Lott and Ryan Schroeder join me from College Station, Texas, and Indianapolis, Indiana? No, it's not in Oklahoma.
Milwaukee?
Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Correct.
I didn't know that was still a city.
I care about Ryan Schroeder.
That's
know.
fair too, to be honest.
I mean, you were recently in Indy, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Correct.
I mean, so I can't keep up with Mr. Worldwide.
I did record the last episode in between these two. So, dude, we're I mean, shoot, Wes and Walker helped me get these in, bro. Or else I would have
been gone in the void without an episode. So
very likely, yeah. No, if we seem tired or spacing, I guess more so than normal. We're recording this as Ryan put it on a back-to-back. So any errors I have in the script, it's not my fault. It's because Ryan Schroeder is forcing us into a back-to-back. We're being worked like dogs here. Just kidding. Ryan Schroeder, really quickly, how is the beautiful city of Milwaukee, and what are your thoughts on the current landscape in Texas private school football as we have the biggest slate of the year ahead of us?
Yeah, it's cold here. I mean, I don't like that it's already fall up here. We haven't really hit fall in Texas yet, at least yet, or Oklahoma to be fair. So definitely don't like the cold, but no, I mean, this is a great slate, honestly. I'm really excited. You know, we have matchup after matchup after matchup that are absolute dogfights in all these really important games too for the decide of a lot of these districts as well. So I'm super excited.
As you should be. Walker Lott, we are in our boring respective normal locations. However, this preview is not going to be boring. As mentioned, the biggest slate of the year thus far. Tons of content coming out this week. Very excited. Before we get to Friday, we're going to preview what's going on. From your perspective, what are we looking at moving into a gigantic week?
Dude, this is the week. This is the week to end all weeks, honestly. This week and next week as well. There's probably 7 games that could be like true games of the week this week. Not 6, but 7 actually. Sorry. There's massive district implications. There's massive conference implications in this slate. Like everything you want, rivalries. It's everything, all the above of like epic and like awesome things to make games impactful. It's all the above in this week.
No, it definitely is. It is going to be such a fun time, and we're not going to waste any time. We're getting straight into the slate with the first of our big 5 games of the week, Brazos Christian versus Central Texas. This Friday, Eagles versus Lions, Jacobus versus Smith, Jackson versus Evans, Black versus Johnston, Flight versus Power. This is a contest that has gone the way of the Lions in recent memory. They're 3-1 versus Brazos Christian since 2020, and they certainly have the firepower to win this contest once again. It begins, continues, and ends with senior running back Austin Evans. Over 1,100 yards and 16 touchdowns through 6 contests. Welcome back, Tabor Tyson. The Lions have dominated their slate thus far, en route to a 6-0 start with a big win to start over Division II Brentwood and massacres of Live Oak, Florence, Rose Hill, and Magnolia Legacy. You typically think of low-scoring, grinding affairs from a run-heavy squad, but the Lions are averaging over 50 points per game while surrendering only 11. But they're certainly not one-dimensional, as senior quarterback Cooper Smith will have ample weapons at his disposal, namely Ike Kilmchuk and Rhett Humphrey. Kilmchuk and Evans also lead the defensive effort for Central Texas, along with junior quarterback Cooper Ragsdale. Division 4 is truly just a beautiful thing. However, they're rubbing up against the defending state finalist and fellow unblemished Brazos Christian Eagles. Even after losing the bulk of their weapons, Jackson Caffey, Brody Gardner, Cooper Murr, Ben Tillery, and Isaiah Perkins, just to name a few, as well as headman Corey Washington, the Eagles have proven under state champion head coach Jordan Black that the mission remains unchanged. Senior quarterback Hudson Jacobus looks born for the moment, throwing for 1,200 yards and 15 touchdowns with 0 interceptions so far this year. Senior Micah Sachs and junior Carson Ramsey have stepped up in a massive way at wideout, combining for over 800 yards and 10 scores. Ramsey, Reed Jackson, and Slate Caffey lead the charge on the ground as well, with 14 touchdowns between those three guys. Defensively, it's the Hunter Black show, as the junior has accounted for 9 tackles for loss, with fellow juniors Darius Brumskill and Jack Williams getting their noses dirty as well. The point is that as deep as the Eagles were last year, it is the same outpouring in 2025. This contest is vital. The winner will avoid Dallas First Baptist until the state title game, whereas the loser likely catches them in the semis. And as talented as the Eagles front is, how do I bet against the best back in the division? No, quite possibly the best back in the state, Austin Evans. Evans has saved my pick record many times this season, and I have made my loyalties clear. Lions, Lions, Lions. Walker Lott, that hurts my soul just a little bit because Brazos Christian is our adopted hometown team as we spent so much time in the Brazos Valley. I don't think this is a wide margin of victory. I think both teams are great. There was a bit of a scare last week for Brazos Christian against Holtsville, but that's due in large part to Jacobus going out for a section of that game. I think Brazos Christian's really deep. I also think Central Texas is really deep. The main thing, I try not and get focused on individual players too much, but my God, Austin Evans is a freak. I really do think that if you put Austin Evans on Brazos Christian, I'm taking Brazos Christian. That's kind of the X factor in this game. I'm curious to hear your opinions on this massive contest.
I always say to start every game, it's like this is gonna be a fun one. This is gonna be a fun one. This is a true rivalry. You didn't really mention that side of it. Like we have interns on both sides of this matchup, and they've been circling this matchup for weeks, right? Since the preseason, since spring ball, these people have been circling this matchup. This is what it's all about this season, right? Because this is the biggest Division Four game of the year. Like First Baptist is going to run through their district and all the way through playoffs into the state. This is the biggest matchup in Division Four this year, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a close one. I think it's going to be a nail biter. I think it could come down to a field goal, truly. I think yes, Brazos Christian looked kind of suspect against Hallettsville last week. That kind of scares me. But I think Hunter Black and other guys like that are truly impressive athletes. Um, I like the quarterback in Jacobus. I like Reed Jackson. He was our underclassman of the year last year for a reason. But it pains me to say it because they are my hometown team, but I'm not picking the Eagles. I'm picking the Lions as well. I think this team is so well rounded. They have dudes all over the place. I think Ike Klimchek is an absolute dude in this one, man. He is that guy. Linebacker of the year for TAPS Division 4 last year for a reason. He does everything now, both sides of the ball. I think he's going to be an X factor in this one. And Austin Evans, yeah, you've already raved enough and everything's well said. Um, it pains me to say it. I think this is a close. I think it comes down field goal. I think tensions are high, and it's going to be a fun one. But I'm going to go the Lions' way in this one.
Ryan Schroeder, Massey Ratings has Brazos Christians a 3.5 point favorite in this game. That's really just solidifying our thoughts. It's going to be a close one. 2 on the side of the Lions. Will you back the Eagles or make this a clean sweep?
Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna like what I have to say here.
Hmm.
I just don't have ties to the Brazos Valley like y'all do. I don't have ties to that area. We have interns down there. We've had interns down there. Like I get it. Like y'all have a humongous tie to Brazos Christian, but this isn't the Brazos Christian of the old. This is the Brazos Christian that's not going to make the state championship this year. This is the Brazos Christian that's, in my opinion, the third best team in Division Four. And when I talked earlier this year, I said there was gaps in Division Four. There's this team that plays in red, and they are at the very, very top. Then you go down a level, and you have another team that plays in red. Okay, but like maroonish, I guess is how you'd say it for Central Texas. kind of, whatever. Maroon and gold, okay, whatever. You have them; they're at their own level, and Brazos Christian is not the same level as Central Texas Christian. Not really close, in my opinion. It's not the same distance away that Central Texas Christian is to First Baptist, but Brazos is not on the same level as Central Texas Christian. I don't like last week. I get Hudson Jacobus was out for part of the game as well, but I don't like last week. I don't like a couple of the other matchups they've had this year so far. I do like Central Texas coming off a bye. I do like that they were there and watching the game. I like all these other factors about Central Texas, and like obviously Austin Evans is a absolute dog. I don't think that Brazos has Austin Evans. I don't think they have anyone of that caliber. Give me Central Texas by 2 scores.
Ooh.
I don't think it's. I mean, I think the
You went
inflammatory
bold, but
comments.
like not really
Yeah,
bold.
that the this.
I was gonna say 3, but I just don't. I don't want to say 3. Like I feel like 3 is because like 21 points is a lot of points. So like, or I guess
But they
technically,
put up a lot of points on everyone they played this year. And
I guess
Brazos is
17 is 3 scores, right?
yes.
Yeah, right. 17 is my answer. 3 scores, 17.
I'll take that. I mean, again, I don't think it's a blowout in the sense this is a 28-point game. And I think that obviously Brazos Christian has a good chance to win this. Just looking at the pieces in front of us, it makes the most sense to take what Central Texas has. That there's a reason why the game's not played on paper and it's played on the gridiron. We're going to figure out if that's going to hold true come Friday. Moving on, or kind of staying 1 foot in Division 4 and 1 foot up to Division 3 in a game that we raved about last year just for the cojones it took to schedule, and they're doing it again this season. Holy Cross versus Dallas First Baptist, where Holy Cross is a 5.5-point favorite. Two teams that face no competition in their respective districts deciding to trade blows in a heavyweight boxing match in the middle of the season. How can you not be romantic about football? First Baptist needs no introduction. The offense is the best we've seen in Division 4. Dylan Jones has an absolute rocket, and he has a menu to choose from with Schleif, Cobb, Foster, Brown, Dukia, the list goes on. That's not even factoring in the most menacing prospect in the state, King George Anagostas, an unbelievably ferocious presence, the likes of which Division 4 has never seen. He can quite literally do everything. 2 passing touchdowns, 500 rushing yards, and 7 scores. A receiving touchdown, 12 tackles per game, 7 tackles for loss, 2 interceptions. He is a dude that you see in your nightmares. Micah Foster has emerged as one of the best defensive backs in the state with 7 interceptions through 7 games. Camp Pugh and Jaden Morales are terrorizing on the defensive line with 4.5 sacks apiece and 30 combined quarterback hurries. Oh, yeah, Corey Thomas is there as well, the Bowling Green commit. It's just a wealth of riches. Find me a weakness on this team. I will wait. But Holy Cross did not care for all the stats and talk of talent last season as Alvarado, Perez, and the Knights gutted First Baptist on the ground with 312 rushing yards and an eventual 34-14 rout. This Knights squad looks a bit different this year, but the outcome has been the same. Sophomore quarterback Rocky Roscoe is one of the best dual threat talents in the land with 1,300 combined yards and 19 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. Senior running back Taylor Flores is a monster with 900 rushing yards and 9 scores. Julian Salas and the sophomore Crew Hudson are tearing it up out wide with 7 and 4 touchdowns, respectively. And the defense is still menacing, surrendering only 17 points per game. But the secondary that held First Baptist to a season low 170 yards is gone. And you can call me crazy, but I think adding a guy from Morales like DeSoto and having Pugh and Anagostas gain a year of experience, I don't just think First Baptist has the chops to make this game closer. I think they're going to walk into Mary Hardin Baylor and win this game. I understand that Holy Cross won this by a lot last year, but I go back to my point that both teams look very different. I think First Baptist retains a bigger core of their talent. And also, it goes to be mentioned with the things surrounding Holy Cross right now, you wonder how that's going to play in to this game. All that being said, Walker, I think this is a situation where you're not going to be wrong on either side. And last year, we saw that the team with all the hype and the flashes in First Baptist got ground into powder basically by the bigger school in Holy Cross. I don't know if there's a wrong answer, but you're going to have one regardless. Your thoughts on the outcome of this contest?
Um, Yeah, I'm glad this is going to be being played again. It was awesome to be there last year. It was a fun game. I love that it's being played at Mary Hardin Baylor. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Two things for this. One, this will be the first game of the penalization with no coaches on the field for Holy Cross, right? Where this is right after the announcement of forfeiture of games. This is a lot to take in for Holy Cross. That being said, even if that didn't happen, I'm taking First Baptist by 21. This is going to be a blowout in the favor of First Baptist. I think it's a big win for them. I think last year, just the corners and the skilled position guys um, that Holy Cross had with Isaiah Jackson Rice kind of locked down their receivers a tad bit, and they were more physical. I just don't think they have it in them. They're more physical on the line of scrimmage this year in First Baptist. I think it's a big, big win for them, and they get their get back this year. Give me First Baptist by at least 3 scores.
Interesting, Ryan Schroeder. I've got First Baptist in a closer one. Walker's taking a wide margin of victory. Your thoughts on how this game turns out?
Yeah, I think it's funny because I would argue that both these teams are like Division II caliber teams, right? Like I would argue that Dallas First Baptist can compete, if not beat, over half of Division II. I'd argue kind of the same for Holy Cross. Maybe not this year as much, but last year definitely for sure. With that being said, both these teams are at the top of their respective divisions, but the reason why I just said First Baptist can beat most of the D2 and they went, kind of 48 points on a D1 team because First Baptist is legit, bro. First Baptist is one of the most insane teams we've seen, you know, at that level in a while, right? If ever. So, with all that being said, I agree with Walker. I was gonna make the same point about the coaches and stuff too. I don't know if 21 points is fair though. I feel like that's a lot of points. Just because I think that I still think that they have dogs. Flores is a dog. Salas is a dog. Rocky's still gonna play very well as well. I would expect more of a shootout than I would expect 21-point difference, but there could be a 21-point difference when they lose like 61-40, right? So I don't know. I'm in the same ballpark. I think First Baptist wins by a lot, but I would like to say that Holy Cross gets on the board. However, the coaching situation is interesting. I wonder if that shakes up anything.
Yeah, we'll see. That's going to be certainly an interesting aspect of that to watch, but we're not going to know until that goes down on Friday evening. Moving on to some SPC action. Kinkaid at Bel Air Episcopal, where the Falcons are 3.5 point favorites. Death, taxes, Kinkaid Episcopal. In their seventh meeting in the past 4 seasons, Episcopal will try and crack the Rubik's Cube that is this Larned-led Kinkaid defense. But the Knights better bring some defensive prowess of their own. Because if not, a man by the name of Wayne Shanks is going to cut through your front seven like a hot knife through soft butter. Shanks needs no introduction. 1,150 yards and 21 touchdowns in 7 games is mind blowing. He truly is the premier back in the state, and it will take a village of Morgans an attempt to contain him. But he is far from the only playmaker in purple. Junior quarterback Ross Wynn is dropping dimes to sophomore Drake Olson, who is going to be a next level talent, and also to Alexander Donnelly and Holden Jones. If you try and sell out to stop Shanks going north south, he's going to go east west. If you try and limit that, Wynn and his crew are going to dissect you over the middle. Pick your poison. The Falcon defense is as menacing as ever, allowing less than 15 points per game to teams not named Gunter. They held Regents to 21 and St. Thomas to 6. Both of those squads are going to be in contention for the titles of their respective divisions. But Episcopal is sick of hearing Wayne Shanks this, Nathan Larned that, and Madden and Deacon Morgan have one thing on their minds, and that is to inflict pain. The Episcopal front has surrendered only 14 points per game in SPC play, but they did get gashed by Parish and TWCA. Offensively, Donovan Warren looks like one of the top sophomores in the land with 1,300 yards and 12 touchdowns through the air. Senior Tommy Hetherington and sophomore Tyler Williams are two big presences on the outside and have combined for 850 yards and 10 scores through the air as well. Warren, Brooks Allen, and Dylan Smith lead the charge on the ground, but I think regardless, it is going to be a struggle to eclipse 20 points. Looking at past matchups, I would say 25 is the number to get to secure the dub against Kinkaid. But this ain't the past, and I think the Falcons are going to go for at least 28 in the dub in this one. I mean, we've spoken at length. I think I've also alluded to this on several spaces leading up to this. I'm even when Cooper rolls into town with all their firepower, I'm not betting against Larned and Kincaid. I've seen this so many times, and EHS a couple years ago, finally laid the hammer down and got their get back. I just don't see there's not a Carson Gordon, and that's no slight to Donovan Warren, but Carson Gordon is at UCLA. He's a freak. There's just I don't have a reason to say, okay, they're gonna beat Wayne Shanks. They're gonna beat this defense. They're gonna beat Ross Wynn. I'm not saying it's gonna be a blowout, but Kincaid still at this point in time, I think are the 4A favorites, and this would be the game to change my mind if anything. But with the information I have, I'm going with Kincaid. Walker Lott, I feel like it's a really difficult spot not to pick Kincaid, but we all have our own opinions, and I'm curious to hear yours.
I think this is going to be an interesting one. I've seen both of these teams. I don't think just mono e mono when you just the eye test, like I don't think Episcopal looks that much different than Kincaid. I think Brooks Allen is a big time player, and I think having him back is a key piece for this Episcopal offense to go. Um, it's gonna be interesting. Can Donovan Warren do it? Right? Like I think he's a talented gunslinger. And they have the pieces around him to go and win some games. Um, but I think I'd be a fool if I didn't bet Kincaid here, truly. We've known that just Larned just gets the job done every time. Somehow, some way, he finds the guys to do it. And Wayne Shanks, um, has kind of turned up the notch a little bit of when it matters most, he comes to play, right? And I think it's going to be a big time game for him. I think Ross Wynn's a good quarterback. He has the weapons around him. I think Kincaid wins. I think it's going to be a close one. I think it's going to be a good game. Uh, but I think I'm going to lean Kincaid here.
I think that is a good choice given what we're looking at. Ryan Schroeder, yet again, for the third time, we're 2-0 on the side of the game. Which way are you swinging?
I think there was it's a stat that I commonly kind of bring up and stuff, but do y'all remember the last time, besides 1 year, the last time someone in SBC not named Kincaid and Episcopal was the winner of the SBC 4A state championship? I've asked this
Jack
a couple times,
Klosick, of
but
course, like would have
2017.
so okay, you're not wrong. 2016 was when All Saints won,
oh yeah.
but 2008 is the last time anyone besides All Saints plus a Kincaid and Episcopal. So Kincaid and Episcopal have won every single year since 2008, besides All Saints in 2016. That's how much dog. I mean, I've said that stat a couple times, but for the people that don't follow SBC, that gives you a good idea of how important this game is every single year. And for some reason, there's a team in purple that usually wins this game every single year. Obviously, EHS was the champions in 2023 in SBC 4A, but Kincaid, Wayne Shanks, and I said this on the recap, Wayne Shanks week by week by week is getting even more impressive. Finally eclipsed the 200 yards mark this past week against ESD. 16 rushing, 5 receiving touchdowns. He has 21 total touchdowns, 280 yards through the air as well receiving. He's got kick return yards, punt return yards. Like if you were wondering how impactful a guy like Wayne Shanks is, he's turning it on right now. Ross Wynn's great. They have other pieces that are great. Kincaid in general is a great stacked team. I don't think that EHS is of that caliber. I definitely do think, like y'all have said, that that Donovan Warren is a baller, but somebody has a guy named Wayne Shanks, and Wayne Shanks is turning it on week over week. I feel like Wayne Shanks is getting into the best mode he's been all year, and that looks scary for EHS. You don't want to see the best Wayne Shanks has ever been this entire year.
No, I like your point a lot. I really do think that as the weeks go on, you start to see Wayne Shanks get better and better, which is kind of hard to imagine considering the starting point. I feel like if you start
Yeah.
like in the stratosphere, I'm not smart enough to know what's past that, but I know it's space, and I don't know if man can live up there. Shanks apparently can, and he's proving to do so, but
It's
it's
true.
going to be fun. Again, this is another one where we're all three on the sides of all these respective contests so far. I don't think, and again, I know you'll have thoughts on Fort Worth Christian or on we will have thoughts on Fort Worth Christian here shortly, but on First Baptist Holy Cross, I think all of these games are are very, very close. We're going to see come Friday. Moving on, we're going to fly out west like Yacht Club. Fort Worth Christian is playing at Midland Christian. Midland are 14.5 point favorites. In a world of hyenas swarming to take down the Lion of District 1, the final two will meet at Gordon Autry to determine who is fit to challenge the king. Fort Worth Christian is untouched at 6-0 on the season. Barring a close game with Trinity Valley, they have obliterated every other team they've played. That has been in large part due to the efforts of senior quarterback Landon Gigliotta. 1,300 yards and 16 touchdowns to one interception, finding guys like Junior Bo Pearson for 350 and six touchdowns, and seniors Luke Robinson and Cade Crawford for 490 and three. You pair them with senior running back Kason Anding on the ground, who has 600 yards and 11 scores, and no one has stopped the machine that is this Eagles offense, especially behind hogs such as Ryan Casey, Isaac Bernal, Adam Burns, more on him later, and Brock Robinson. But the most daunting piece lies on the edge. Enter senior Kansas State commit defensive end Tucker Ashford. 6'3", 240, 4.6 speed, an absolute freak. You mirror him with 6'5", 270 Navy commit Adam Burns, and that stout Mustang front is going to feel the heat come Friday. But heat is something that Midland's accustomed to. The Mustangs are 4-2 on the season with losses to stout UIL programs in Graham and Friendship and wins over Bishop Lynch, Bushland, Cornerstone, and Southwest Christian. This team is built with an identity around crushing defense led by Brady Young and Coy Hayes. You then add one of the best athletes in the state into the mix in Caleb Cruz and quite literally pick a position blindfolded, and Cruz could be there making plays on Friday. You consider that Young, Hayes, Cruz, Brody Todd will tote the rock for the Mustangs, and freshman quarterback Jackson Franco is looking more and more like a star as the weeks pass, and that you have a front led by Utah commit Rowdy Pierce and a defensive line led by 6'3", 240 edge Isaiah Matthews. I've gotten burned picking against Fort Worth Christian more times than I can count on one hand. But if I'm going to be wrong, gosh darn it, I'm going to be so emphatically. Midland dominates this contest out west and solidifies themselves as threat level midnight to the team in West Fort Worth. I don't care. I'm
Oh,
going all in on it. I don't have anything to bet. I mean
They
I'll
have
jump out my
everything.
second.
yeah, you don't own anything anymore.
Yeah,
No,
Fort Worth Christian owns everything else you have.
I'll jump out of the second story window of this house that I don't own
Oh, oh,
if Fourth Christian win. So they can't take anything more from me. That's a
oh,
bit
wow.
morbid. All that
That's
being said,
That's a
I
bold,
re
yeah.
I really do think Midland is going to win this game. I don't think I know there was some theatrics involved there. This is a coin flip. This really is, I think. The only thing that worries me is that 9 point win for Fourth Christian against TVS. Ryan and I both saw TVS. TVS is a good squad, but they're not a squad that's going to go out and compete against the top of Division Two. Again, you can't take such a small sample size as one game against an SBC 3A team and say they're going to lose to Midland because of that. That's not how that works. I'm just saying it's something I've kept an eye on. All that being said, these two teams, the margin is razor thin, and it's partially because I've seen Midland this year, and there's probably a bit of familiarity bias there. All that said, my pick is Midland Christian. Walker Lott, for the man from Fort Worth, which way are we going in this game?
Yeah, this is definitely a fun one. I think, I think we talk a lot about this Midland Christian defense, and Isaiah Matthews deserves love and all these other guys who are dang good football players. But we definitely have not mentioned a lot about what Tucker Ashford brings to the field. His versatility, being a linebacker off the edge or put his hand in the dirt or play tight end for them. Like, he's able to do so much for this team, and he's one of the best athletes in TXPS, so that we should talk about more. I like this team. I like Gigliotta. I think he's a dang good quarterback, and kind of sometimes gets in the weeds of Tabs Division two quarterbacks, but he definitely should be near the top. I think he's that good of a player. But after last week, I mean, I could not do it again and be the villain one more time against this Midland Christian team. Give me Midland in this one. You can call me scared after last week and just frightened because of what they did to Trey Mosley in that offense. Yeah, I am, and they should be too, because this defense is absolutely legit, coached by JJ Parker and company. This is a stout defense, and I think they get it done here again tonight. By the way, if Franco pulls it off as a freshman quarterback against this team, what a win for him, man. What a win.
Yeah, no, it'll be up there with Cornerstone for the biggest test of the season. I think it's a pretty apt comparison. But Ryan Schroeder, for now the fourth time out of 5 games, we are all on one side of the slate. Which way are you thinking?
It'd be really easy for me to pick Midland Christian here. It'd be very easy. Um, Mostly because I've just been like, I have like Midland is obviously like has ruined me. I mean, I who did I pick? I picked BL in the first game or something like that. Or in that one game, I just they burned me over and over and over again. And then I made the whole comment about how Caleb Cruz can cover the whole field. Yeah, well, whatever, dude, whatever. Like this is what I'll say. I don't give Forward Christian enough credit. There's a reason why they're 6-0. There's a reason why outside the TBS game that their defense hasn't allowed over 20 points in a game. They are an elite defense. These are two elite defenses in total. I don't think there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game in total. You're going to see a Midland Cornerstone final type. That's 17-14. That's what my prediction is. I just think that Forward Christian coming off a bye, I think that Forward Christian with the dudes they have, I'm really a big fan of Gigliota. I think, and this may be crazy, I think that Forward Christian gets it done. I think Forward Christian defeats Midland Christian in this matchup. And that's a crazy take because they have to go out to Midland. And by the way, they did not come off a bye. I'm wrong. But all that to say is I'm riding. I'm riding with the Cardinals. I'm riding with the Cardinals. There's some dogs down there, Tucker Ashford, Gigliota, that whole company down there. And I'm gonna go hang out in your house down there. I'll go hang out in your car down there. I'll go hang out with all of them down there. We'll have all of it in the truck. We'll be whipping around.
No, the car was never part of the deal. It was just the house, and
No, it
it was the
was.
house.
He
It
wanted
was
No,
the
you
I mean,
house
to
and the
dude,
house
we
again.
gotta.
he
Well,
had he has the BMW. He has
no,
Jordan
No,
Green.
Jordan Green made that up. Jordan Green. By the way, how did Jordan Green ever figure out what kind of car I drove? What if
I
you
have
had to
no
have told
idea.
him that?
I no
Not
no
me.
idea. We have a
Okay.
compound though. There's a compound in North Richland Hills that just has all your assets.
I don't. I mean, those kids don't need that. I don't know. I don't know what the purpose of that is at this point, but it'll be interesting. Yeah, I don't know, man. We're gonna see where it goes. All that being said, we have one final game to cover on the slate, which is Liberty Christian at Parish Episcopal, where the Warriors are eight
Ooh.
and a half point favorites. Friday night, 7 p.m., Gloria Snyder Stadium. The two top coaches in the division, two of the top prospects in the country, the old guard versus the new, a chance at redemption. Parish Episcopal versus Argyle Liberty Christian. 10 short months ago, Liberty completed the season sweep of Parish, ending their Goliath-esque run of 5 consecutive state titles as Murphy, Janusek, Hawkins, Brown, and company celebrated inside of Waco ISD Stadium. But 75% of the starters on that field are gone, and a new era has dawned on TAPS Division 1. Following 2 losses to UIL Powers to open the season, Liberty has ripped off 4 straight in dominant fashion. This has been in large part due to the efforts of Baylor commit Quinn Murphy and Cooper Witten. However, while Witten played the entire contest at linebacker in the win over Prestonwood, he played only 2 snaps at wide receiver, which was unexpected for the top pass catcher in the state. That proved not to matter as firecracker Lincoln McCamey returned at wideout, and the combination of him and sophomore Graham Nixon, combined with a healthy dose of running back Corell Buckhalter, was enough to crush Prestonwood. All of you know the names on both sides. Murphy, Witten, McCamey, Buckhalter, Nixon, Etta, Langford, Violi, Hare for Liberty, Pio, Lucero, Richardson, Johnston, Burton, Phillips, Hanish, Cook, Muse, Cotto, Lavelle for Parish. Here's what I'm looking at here. Is the Parish front going to hold against Witten, Etta, Terry, and Violi? That will be the key to everything. Parish has one of the best lines in the state with the guys that I've mentioned, but Liberty has a front that resembles a tidal wave at its inflection point. That is the key to getting Hanish loose. It's the key to giving Lucero time, and it's the key allowing to Pile to get the ball. And I think that's going to happen. I also think this defense under new defensive coordinator brings an energy that has just been missed in the past. I understand that Parish lost to All Saints to open the year, and I also got burned in the same spot picking Parish in the state title game, which Liberty let me know about very clearly, even though I wasn't even on the field. It's just that I think Lucero's got enough games under his belt to finally feel comfortable mixing that talent. You add Jonathan Phillips, bringing what he brings to the table with his legs. I really, really, really do like Parish in the spot. It's not the pick, though. Pick's Liberty Christian. How
Nice.
could it not be? You really thought the
Nice.
guy that's been saying for the past 3 weeks that, hey, Liberty is the team in the division. I don't care who they put on the field. Jason Witten is a psychopath, and I mean that in the most complimentary way I can put it. What did I say last episode? It is a machine that you stick players into and it spits out wins like a Chuck E. Cheese ticket machine. I'm not going to say that and immediately not pick against them. Listen, the talent from my perspective is equal. I really just it's proven this year that even if Liberty doesn't have power four guys at every single receiver spot, they're going to find ways to win games. I think it's close, and I think it's also going to hinge on if they're going to put Cooper back at receiver. I don't know how much of a pitch count he's on. All that said, the pick is Liberty. Walker Lott. I want to see where you're going because this is a massive game.
I can't believe you did that. I, I was about to go like just rant about like how would you say all this about Liberty and but then you just turn it on a 180. I can't believe that. Yeah, that's going in the clip for sure. Um, this is crazy, man. This is a big one. I can't believe is you said the stat of 75% of starters on that field are gone. Is that from both sides combined?
That's a big guesstimate, but it has to be
I mean,
close.
it has to be close, yeah. That's such a crazy stat. Um, so many guys from this last
It's
battle are
it's it's a
gone.
crazy stat because both these teams are still the top dogs in the division.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's
100%.
why that's why we thought Preston was going to be back in the spot because they seem to lose less. We'll see.
And
Yeah.
then they lost the best.
Yeah. It's so interesting. I think you were right. I think it's going to be a coin flip. I think we're going to watch Jalen Pyle do Jalen Pyle things on one side and do like he did last year, where he's going to keep it close, just throw him the ball, he'll come down with it. He doesn't even have, the guys that were there, the Division 1 guys at corner that he had to deal with last year. On the flip side, though, I mean, Cooper Witten is doing a MVP type season on both sides of the ball. If he's back playing receiver, which he doesn't need to, it looks like, but if he does, that's just an extra feather in the cap for them to like dominate. I love Parrish. I think if Lucero wins this, dude, he's going in the record books. Like this is a stamp of I can do it. Like I'm about it. We talk about the starting freshman for with Stone, starting freshman for Anderson. This is the game that you stamp Lucero as one of those dudes. But I don't think it's gonna happen. I think it's gonna be Liberty Christian. I think I just you talk about how the culture there at Liberty Christian, it's so detail oriented. They will break you down before you even get onto the field because practice and everything in prep is so meticulous. They will know exactly what they need to do to win. In the games they've played, they've just played more talented teams. That is what it is. In games like this, when it's a coin flip, how do you not rock with the team from Argyle? I just think it's going to be down. I think also Quinn Murphy is going to be the key one here. We talked about him last week. We talked about him in the recap of like how good this player is and how good he's been for so long. This is the game I think we were reminded a little bit about it against Prestwood. This is the game he sets a tone of being like, I'm not just one of the best to do it at Liberty. I'm one of the best to ever do it in TXPS. This is the game he shows why because it's 4 years of starting, all the weapons, Baylor commit, prototypical what you want in a gunslinger, throwing the ball around. I think he shows it here in this one. Give me Quinn Murphy, give me Cooper Wynn, give me Liberty Christian.
I'm now beginning to realize I might have made a slight error here because I'm going to be at Parish for this game, and
Yeah, that's crazy.
I love all the people at Parish, um, and I'm going to have to answer for this in a very strong way. Maybe none of them will watch. That would well, it'd be nice for me. It wouldn't be great for our numbers. I'll figure that out later. I'll hedge my bets here some way between now and Friday. But Ryan Schroeder in the biggest game of the year. We're yet again two on one side. This probably is the best opportunity for us to diversify, but I'm not going to make you make a pick. You are your own person. Your thoughts on this gigantic clash in TAPS Division One?
Yeah, so last year in the regular season game, I want y'all to guess how many yards Sawyer had.
In the regular season, he at
Passing
least
yards.
he
435.
he definitely had over 400.
More than
450?
551 on 40 attempts. Okay, now I'm about to tell you this though. Three receivers over 100 yards.
Yep.
Carson Darby, Marcus Hanish, Beckham Smith. Jalen Pyle had 99 yards, four receptions. He did have two touchdowns, one of them being that one over the shoulder one that he had as well.
Yeah.
They locked Jalen up because that's what they knew they had to do. They're letting anyone else beat them besides Pyle. And that's when they had Darby and they had, Bryson Fields as well. Like that's when, Parish had a lot of guys at that helm. Well, now instead of Sawyer Anderson throwing the ball, you have a different quarterback throwing the ball that at this point in his career is not better than Sawyer Anderson. So if you're telling me they locked up Jalen Pyle last year, he still had two touchdowns. But if you're telling me they locked up Jalen Pyle last year and there's less options this year and the quarterback's worse and the defense is similar, but then Cooper Witten's playing more receiver, Cooper Witten is doing different things, which we don't know if he will play. I assume in a matchup like this, they'd throw him out there receiver just as much as they have been in some aspects or another. Quinn's been playing elite. Quinn's receivers look elite because of the way Quinn's playing. He's almost Tom Brady-esque, making his receivers look better because of how good he is. All that being said, Liberty is going to, I don't know if it's going to be the final score of the state game. The state game was crazy. It was 45-24. Last year's game was 35-27 regular season. That's probably a little bit closer. I'd say two scores is probably where I'm at Liberty-wise. I just think that Liberty has pieces, knows how to stop Parish, and knows how to stop whatever else Novikov throws at them. That's what I think Liberty is good at.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, I'm looking at the receiving stats for Liberty Christian. They had 291 yards receiving. Brady Janusek's gone. Quentin Brown's gone. Jalen Hawkins gone. Chase Garnett's gone. Like, I understand the point with the Parish receivers, but
what did I just say though? I just said that Quinn Murphy can turn receive. That's what Sawyer did.
Right. I got you.
Siler Cook being back is huge in this.
I was going to say that.
That Siler Cook being back and being a focal point of this offense is huge. And you just know, like, Novikov has been in his office for a whole offseason for 7 weeks, just being like, this is the game I get it back. And I think that's terrifying. But I just can't bet against the meticulousness and the detail oriented of this culture at Liberty Christian right now.
Witten knows how to lock up Pyle. That's my
stop. So I'm gonna be the one that has to answer to Parish for this.
I love the Pyle family. I'm just telling you how it is, bro.
And then on the flip side, if we
see the end zone, he didn't see the end zone in the state game. It's
a good point. But also on the flip side, I'm going to guess we're going to get corner Pyle as well. The matchup of Cooper Witten versus corner Pyle as well.
They're not. Well, no.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to get that.
Cooper's not an outside. He's not an outside receiver, is he?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, I definitely would have thought.
You would think they would put him best on best, right?
Oof.
Do you really think we're going to get corner Pyle? I don't think we will.
We got him in the corner. We got him in this game last year.
I don't know. I feel like after seeing the Prestonwood game, they know this is one of two, and it's from a seeding standpoint, it's not massive. I don't know. I hope we do. That would be electric.
If we're thinking about this, the reason, not the sole reason that Liberty won the state championship over Parish last year but it was a big part was Chaser Garnett coming back and dominating that state championship game. They always rely on the ground game. Both teams
Well,
honestly do.
well,
I think the battle is going to be the run game. Can Coral Buckhalter outmatch the senior committed to uh whatever that is, the Gorillas, Pitt State?
Pitt State.
Like I think that's gonna be the battle to watch. Is the offensive defensive lines for Parish are solid. Parish is one of the best units in the state. It was tested last week, but in Liberty's offensive line, that was the biggest question for me. Um, Proves right. Like I think they proved they are a good offensive line, good offensive unit. Um, if Buckharter gets going, I don't think it's going to slow down.
Golly, I'm just looking back at stats from state. Sawyer went 10 for 30 with 2 picks.
Dude,
I just
they
got
swarmed
but he
him,
still
man.
threw
and
for 300 yards though. How do you
he
throw
did,
10?
but like,
How do you throw
yeah,
10 completions? Wait,
Dude,
that's a wonder. That's an interesting thing. 10 completions for 304 yards.
it was all
got
deep
and
balls. It was like
yeah,
That's kind of crazy.
slants for Yak. That's what it was. Like Bryson Fields at the start of the game and stuff like that. So
Bryson Fields 2 catches for 100 yards.
yeah.
that was par for the course
And that was
for those
that state
Parish
game was
teams.
out without Cooper Wynn because remember Cooper suplexed
Mm,
Bryson and then was out for the rest of the game.
I forgot about that. Well, actually, I never
Oh,
really knew about that because I wasn't there. But
Oh
I
yeah.
definitely forgot about that. Honestly, I really forgot about that.
Anyways, this is like, why we're I'll let you go over this, Wes, but like the reason we're talking about this so in detail is because this is the matchup. Like this is the big game. And it's so much fun every time watching these two master classes of culture and talent go at each other. It's what this sport is so much fun and why we tune in every week.
yeah, no, it quite literally is the old guard versus the new blood. I mean, Liberty, after kicking everyone in Division 2, went up to Division 1 and said, "Oh, I think I'll try it with this style." No, look, we did that, and they're going to try and do that yet again off of the team that won 5 straight state championships. And they dethroned them. We're going to see if that's going to remain the same this season. All three of us on the program think they will, and we're all also on the exact same side of all of these games, all of which I think will be close.
Uh,
So there, gentlemen, there's a nightmare. Oh, sorry, you took Parish. You took Parish. You took
No,
no,
but
Parish.
he
took
Wait,
for
took
no,
Christian.
you took Forward
For
Christian.
Christian.
yeah.
Again, like I said off the top, we're recording on a back-to-back, so any errors that I have, please direct to Ryan Schroeder. All that being said, there's a non-zero chance we get 4 screenshots of us being wrong on picks, which I honestly think would be more impressive than us picking the entire slate right. But I don't make the rules. All that being said, we have given you every ounce of information we can regarding these 5 games. We're going to have interns at almost all of these and also covering other games. The tentacles of TXPS Media now stretch out way across the land, and I'm so incredibly grateful for it. As that has been said, as always, I've been 1/3 of your hosting crew, Wes Tolleson. Walker Lott and Ryan Schroeder have fantastically been themselves. We will see you to recap all of this in the next episode. See you later.